The notorious Essex boys' murders were ordered by a top-tier Brinks-Mat villain in revenge for missing heist money, a team of former detectives believes. Drug dealers Pat Tate, 37, Tony Tucker, 38, and Craig Rolfe, 26, were found shot dead in a Range Rover on an isolated farm track in Rettendon, near Basildon, on the morning of December 7th, 1995. 3 years later, Michael Steele and Jack Worms, now 77 and 58, were convicted of the murders on the evidence of Supergrass Darren Nichols, who claimed to be the getaway driver. But now, the former murder detectives claim to unearthed a significant line of inquiry into a row of the proceeds of an armed robbery that they say was never properly investigated. They believe this could have led to a serious miscarriage of justice. Former Met Detective DCI David McKelvey, now boss of private investigating firm TMI, is leading the review, which is focused on official statements made by criminal Billy Jasper but never made public. Jasper told the police 4 months before Nichols made his statements that he was actually the getaway driver and that Brinks-Mat money launderer Patsy Bow-Ties Clark had ordered the hit. Mr. McKelvey said they've had the name of a major criminal said to have been behind the murders, the gunman, a credible motive and intelligence linking Tucker and the money from the robbery. They also had the account of a man claiming to be the getaway driver but chose to dismiss what he said because it did not fit with their theory about Worms and Steele. Nichols told the Old Bailey the 3 victims were lured there by Worms and Steele on the pretense of a drug deal but were instead blasted to death. Worms released on parole after 23 years in March, and Steele have always insisted they were innocent and the real killers escaped justice. Mr. McKelvey said Jasper's account was compelling, fitting with evidence available to the original investigation team and known to the former detectives who spent years investigating serious crime in London and Essex. Patsy Clark, a former scrap dealer and nightclub owner, died aged 81 in November 2019. In 1992, he was jailed for 6 years for laundering more than 4.2 million of the proceeds of the infamous 26 million gold bullion robbery of the Brinks-Mat warehouse at Heathrow Airport in 1983. Jasper gave Essex police his name and a motive early on in the investigation, but TMI says Clark was never even interviewed. And Jasper gave defence evidence at Worms and Steele's trial that he was the real getaway driver for a different gunman who is still alive but never interviewed. He referred in court to the alleged assassin as Mr. D. Jasper said he was paid £5,000 to drive Mr. D to the scene on the night the 3 were killed. Jasper asked to speak to detectives on the case and said he wanted protection as he feared he would be killed for knowing too much. Worms and Steele, who remains a Category A prisoner, have failed in a number of appeal bids. Their latest application was made to the Criminal Cases Review Commission in May 2018, but there has still yet to be an outcome. Essex police said there was an exhaustive police investigation, and following the trial and convictions, the evidence has been examined by the CCRC and the Court of Appeal. The case is currently under review with the CCRC. It would be inappropriate to comment further whilst the review is still ongoing.